keeping our focus on COVID-19, let's first take a look at the data that we have on the latest number of cases in India. And it has now crossed 54,000 cases overall in the country. We haven't got data from all states. And remember, the Health Ministry now is only giving us updates every morning instead of every morning and evening. But the most cases are in Maharashtra, as you saw there, followed by Gujarat at just over 7,000 cases. And you have also Tamil Nadu and Delhi, which account for a very high number of cases. Tamil Nadu today reporting 588 cases in all. We're still waiting for today's data, both from Maharashtra as well as Delhi. So we should hopefully get that in the next hour or so. But let's take a look at the death rate. And this is very important because the number of people who are actually dying from COVID-19 is a crucial figure. Now, overall, India's death rate, which was at about 3.2% till recently, has just inched up a bit to 3.4%. But these are the states you see on your screens where it's much higher than the national average. West Bengal, the highest at the moment at 9.9%, followed by Gujarat at 6%, and then Madhya Pradesh at nearly the same at 5.9%. So these are the states where the death rate at the moment is the highest. But remember, the sharpest spikes just in terms of the number of cases have been seen in particular in Maharashtra, in Tamil Nadu, in Delhi as well. Though Delhi has a high number of cases, its death rate is in fact amongst the lowest in the country. It's under 2% and has consistently been so. Now, how does India compare to the rest of the world? Well, again, we're looking at the death rate in particular, and you can see there that the death rates are pretty high in Europe, in the UK, in France, Italy, Spain, even the US at 6%. So India at 3.4% is much lower, and thankfully that figure should only go down from here and not go any higher than that. But the figure that should concern us now is the doubling rate, the rate at which the coronavirus cases are doubling in the country. So the longer the number of days, the better it is. But you can see there that while we were doubling just a few days ago at every 12 days, we are now doubling at every 10 days. So that is a figure that should be of concern, because we should have perhaps been at 14-15 days by now, according to many experts, but we've gone back to every 10 days, a doubling rate of every 10 days. So these are some of the figures we need to look at very closely. Now, Maharashtra, clearly the state which has the most number of cases reported. It is also one of the largest states in the country. And Mumbai in particular, India's financial capital, has been badly hit. There are now questions being raised about the health infrastructure in hospitals and how the city is actually coping. In fact, Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray held a meeting with all opposition parties as well today.
A shocking video. Corpses kept on beds next to patients at Mumbai's Sion Hospital, run by the municipality and a dedicated COVID hospital. The authorities defended this, saying that sometimes families do not turn up to collect bodies on time, and sometimes legal formalities take 2 to 3 hours before the bodies are picked up, which is only after families consent.
सायन हॉस्पिटल का ही है और वहां पर जो रिलेटिव्स है वो लोग लेके नहीं गए थे, इसलिए थोड़ा टाइम लगा होगा.
Maharashtra's death rate, 3.9%, is a bit above the national average. But with over 10,700 cases in Mumbai, the daily number of deaths is usually the highest of any city. In the last 1 week, there have been an average of 31 deaths a day. Amidst the growing crisis, Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray met with opposition leaders to discuss the mitigation plan and also a possible exit plan. In a meeting that lasted over 3 hours, the opposition leader Devendra Fadnavis suggested more trains need to be started for migrants. But ironically, Mumbai, which has the highest number of migrants in the state, hasn't started a single train yet. Although the CM met all party leaders and took their suggestions, he also admitted that more infrastructure needs to be developed to tackle cases in Mumbai, which also includes starting more trains to send the migrants back. In Mumbai, this is Purva Chitnis for NDTV.
Gujarat is the other state that is being looked at with some worry by the centre as well. Two of the biggest cities, Ahmedabad and Surat, are now going into a full lockdown till at least the 15th of this month. And by a full lockdown, we mean that people can literally only get milk and medicines. Nothing else will be open, no groceries, nothing. And in fact, the paramilitary has been called in Ahmedabad to ensure that this lockdown is followed.
Police out on the streets of Ahmedabad after a full lockdown was declared till the 15th of May. 5 additional companies of paramilitary forces are also out in the city. a new team of bureaucrats have been appointed to tackle the worsening COVID situation in Ahmedabad. The government says super spreaders like those working in shops selling vegetables, fruits and ice cream parlors, along with those working for food and delivery platforms, among others, have become a potent source of infection for many. Ahmedabad residents say the order took them by surprise.
This news was communicated at about 6 in the evening, giving only a 2-hour window for the citizens to buy fruits and vegetables, which resulted in absolute chaos. There was panic buying on the streets.
I feel that the government should have taken proper steps and should have given a proper window for people to at least get some time and buy things whatever they require.
Meanwhile, Surat, a city that has around 800 cases, is following suit. It will also go into full lockdown from Saturday.
सरकार द्वारा 9 तारीख को रात को 12 बजे पूरा सख्ताई से यहाँ पे लॉकडाउन शुरू होगा। साग भाजी विक्रेताओं की वजह से यहाँ पे काफ़ी केस बढ़े हुए हैं। सरकार के सामने ये एक चैलेंज आया होगा कि इसको अटकाने के लिए पहले हम साग भाजी विक्रेताओं को यहाँ पे हम बंद कर देंगे तो पब्लिक अपने आप बाहर नहीं निकलेगी और 9 तारीख के बाद पूरे 1 वीक तक पूरा सघन यहाँ पे बंद की प्रक्रिया हो रही है और सरकार ने अच्छा ये कदम उठाया हुआ है।
But Surat has other worries too. A city that is home to lakhs of migrant workers has seen huge protests by them wanting to go home. And now, 20 migrant labourers who returned to Odisha from Surat have tested positive. 17 of them in Ganjam district and 3 in the Mayurbhanj district. The Odisha government, however, says it's ready.
ମାନେ ସମସ୍ତେ ଆମ ପିଲା ଛୁଆ ଆମ ଭାଇ ଭଉଣୀ ସେମାନଙ୍କ ଯତ୍ନ ନେବା ଆମ ଦାୟିତ୍ୱ। ବାହାର ଲୋକ ଆସିଲେ ପଜିଟିଭ ସଂଖ୍ୟା ପଡ଼ିବ କିନ୍ତୁ ପରିସ୍ଥିତି ନିୟନ୍ତ୍ରଣରେ ରହିପାରିବ ଯଦି ଆପଣମାନେ ସରକାରଙ୍କୁ पूरा सहयोग ଯୋଗାଇ ଦେବେ।
In Mumbai, Saurabh Gupta, NDTV.
I spoke earlier this evening to Hasmukh Bhai Patel, who is the Lok Sabha MP of the BJP from Ahmedabad East. As we said, one of the worst hit cities as far as Gujarat is concerned and in the country. Mr. Patel, thanks very much for joining us on NDTV. ये बताइए सर कि डेथ रेट जो गुजरात की है, it is very high, it is the 3rd highest in the country. ऐसा क्यों हुआ है कि अहमदाबाद में, गुजरात में things are so bad?
ज्यादातर केस अहमदाबाद में ही है, करीब 70%। अहमदाबाद में होने के 2-3 कारण है। डेंस पॉपुलेशन वॉल सिटी में ज्यादा है और वहाँ तबलीगी जमात के लोग सबसे पहले आए। उसके बाद वॉल सिटी को काफी कंट्रोल करने का कोशिश किया, लेकिन डेंस पॉपुलेशन होने के लिए वहाँ एक रूम, छोटे छोटे मकान में 10-10, 12-12 लोग रहते हैं, तो सबको कंट्रोल करने में, चेजिंग करने में प्रशासन को काफी दिक्कत पहुंची। फिर भी अच्छी तरह कंट्रोल कर भी पाए हैं, लेकिन पिछले थोड़े दिन में ऐसे समझ में आया कि जो सब्जी विक्रेता है, जो सब्जी बेचते हैं, वो लोगों के माध्यम से भी कोरोना का संक्रमण बढ़ रहा है और इसके लिए उनका टेस्टिंग किया। 2 जगह पे पाया गया कि सब्जी बेचने वाले लोग भी कोरोना से संक्रमित हो चुके हैं। इसके लिए आज से प्रशासन ने बहुत ही कठोर कदम उठाते हुए पूरे अहमदाबाद में सिर्फ दूध और दवाई के लिए इजाजत दी है। सब्जी और काफी करियाना जो ग्रोसरी स्टोर्स बोलते हैं, वो लोगों को भी बंद करने के लिए बोला है और प्रजा अभी शिस्त बताते हुए इसका अमल करने लग गई।
हसमुख भाई जी, आपने अब पैरामिलिट्री बुलाई है अहमदाबाद में, क्या इसका मतलब है कि प्रशासन जो है, एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन जो है, वो मतलब दे हैव फेल्ड, मतलब वो अपना काम नहीं कर पाई है?
देखो, प्रशासन तो हैंडल करती है, मगर जो 2 गज की दूरी आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने बताया है, सब लोग शिस्त में नहीं रहते। आपने दिल्ली में भी देखा कि जब दुकानें खुल गई तो पूरी लाइन लग गई, कहीं 2 गज की दूरी नहीं थी, सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग नहीं था। कई थोड़े मोटे लोग जब प्रशासन की बात नहीं मानते हैं, ऐसे लोगों के लिए थोड़ा उसके लिए फोर्सेस की आवश्यकता प्रशासन को लगी है। थोड़े लोगों के लिए पूरा गुजरात या अहमदाबाद सहन नहीं कर सकता है। ऐसे लोगों को सजा करनी चाहिए, कंट्रोल में रखना चाहिए। और आज से जो वातावरण बना है, मुझे भरोसा है हमारा कोरोना संक्रमण के जो केसेस बढ़ते जा रहे हैं कंट्रोल हो जाएंगे और गुजरात भी कोरोना की लड़ाई जीत पाएगा।
हसमुख भाई जी, आपने अभी कहा कि कितने आपने टफ स्टेप्स उठाए हैं, लोग दूध और दवाई ही खरीद सकते हैं और कुछ नहीं कई दिनों के लिए, ये कब तक चलेगा? और उसके बाद आपने कुछ सोचा है कि क्या प्लान है, आगे क्या करना है?
देखो, अभी तो 15 तारीख तक प्रशासन ने घोषणा की है और 15 तारीख तक तो काफी कंट्रोल हो जाएगा। 17 तारीख तक तो पूरे देश में लॉकडाउन है। अगर कंट्रोल हो गया तो धीरे धीरे आज भी गुजरात के कई जिलों में तो एसेंशियल इंडस्ट्री और ग्रीन डिस्ट्रिक्ट में तो काम चालू हो गया है। अहमदाबाद में भी एसेंशियल सर्विसेज मतलब दवाई के जो सप्लायर और एक्सपोर्ट इंडस्ट्री को भी चालू कर दिया GIDC में। अभी कंट्रोल हो जाएगा तो सबके साथ इसको भी कंट्रोल करते हुए कि जो सब्जी विक्रेता और जरूरी चीजें का बिक्री पे परमिशन दिया जाएगा।
All right, Hasmukh Patel, Lok Sabha MP of the BJP from Ahmedabad East, thank you very much for joining us and giving us that perspective on why Ahmedabad has decided to go in for such a tough lockdown. Well, we're focusing tonight with an expert panel of doctors on why we're seeing such a sharp spike in cases, particularly in very specific cities, in very specific parts of the country, and what we can expect to happen over the next few weeks. We have Dr. S.K. Sareen, who is advising the Delhi government here on COVID-19. He's joining us tonight. Dr. Sanjay Nagral, surgeon at Jaslok Hospital in Mumbai, joining us. We're also going to be joined by Dr. Kaushik Lahiri from Kolkata and Dr. Kunal Sarkar, also from the Medica Hospital in Kolkata. Thank you very much to all of you for being with us. Dr. Nagral, if I could ask you first about Mumbai. Now, there seems to be a lot of concern that the maximum number of cases are coming from Maharashtra. It's a big state. But also that they're being concentrated in Mumbai. There are now reports that Mumbai's health infrastructure may not exactly be fully in place for a rising number of cases in the next few weeks. Is that your sense as well?
Yeah, so Nidhi, let me start by saying that I'm not an epidemiologist, but I worked in Mumbai for the last many years, both in the private and the public sector. So I'm seeing the epidemic unfold at very close quarters. In one sense, very concerned but not surprised, because for a virus of the infectivity of COVID, Mumbai is actually a city with such a high density. So that's the obvious explanation why Mumbai is affected so badly. As regards your question on infrastructure, so Mumbai always prided itself on one of the best organized or relatively good, well-organized infrastructures of the Bombay Municipal Corporation. But I must say that Mumbai has grown humongously, and the ability of the public health infrastructure to keep pace with the growth of Mumbai has been extremely limited. And therefore, yes, I think partially we haven't been, the health infrastructure has not been able to keep pace even in routine times. So, of course, COVID challenges it even more seriously. And I think one of the failures we have to accept is the coordination between the public and the private sector. There's a lot of effort by the current corporation to rope in the private sector, but there's huge capacity in the private sector, especially to treat sick and critically ill patients, that needs to be harnessed better.
Ask you, Dr. Nagral, when I talk about Mumbai's hospital infrastructure, today we just had pictures of how corpses were being kept on beds next to patients in Mumbai Sion Hospital. Now, why would something like this happen? It's actually frightening to think that it's come to this in some of the biggest hospitals in the city.
Yeah, so Nidhi, it is very sad. These are hospitals where all of us have worked and trained, and it is very sad to see these pictures. But, I think it's just hospitals are being overwhelmed. And, the fact of the matter is these large hospitals of the MCGM attract huge number of patients, and I think they're just getting overwhelmed. So whilst that video is very, very sad, but I think I have no other explanation. This is not something deliberate, but just overwhelming of the system. And I think that the ability to deal with dead bodies, I'm told that there's a lot of shortage of staff at all the levels. So sad, but I think just overwhelming of the system.
Well, let me ask Dr. Sareen here in Delhi. Dr. Sareen, in Delhi also we've seen a spike in cases over the last few days. Thankfully, the death rate is far below the national average. It's been consistently under 2%. But are you concerned about these rising number of cases?
Well, Nidhi, we must realize if you get somebody tested positive today, it means the person must have been infected 8 to 10 days ago. So the numbers that we are seeing are not because of any change in policy or opening up of shops or markets or easing out of any kind of restrictions. So these cases must have been 8 or 10 days old. So I think it's a natural course of the infection that is expected. Secondly, we are still not anywhere close to the peak. We all estimated it to be around mid-May to end of May. But now I think the peaks might come. When you have a lockdown, when you have isolations, when you have social distancing, we just do not have the peak early. The peak is actually delayed. So the peaks might come in June or July, so we may still have long time to wait, and therefore this may be the natural course. So the spike what you are seeing is not actually a spike, it may be the natural course. But secondly, the Delhi has started extensively testing.
Okay.
Extensively testing. There is no pendency. So the numbers could also be because that we are testing more and we are getting more positive. But the fact that Delhi has the lowest death rate is the attention of the healthcare system, the political will and the health administration, so that they bring down the death rate. You can't change the infection course at times.
So can I ask
the only way you can probably do is
that was my next question, that I think when we heard Dr. Randeep Guleria and you also now talking about the peak perhaps in June or even in July, I mean, does that mean that we need to stay in a state of complete lockdown until then? Because that's obviously not feasible either. Or, as Dr. Guleria was suggesting, that it's time to focus more aggressively on very specific hotspots while you open up other places.
This is most scientific because lockdown is a effort by the government on both the individual as well as on the community. Both are being tackled in a lockdown period. Relaxation of lockdown eases out both. And I want to say that here is a time now, and if you want the curve and the people less to be infected, is that the social distancing be changed to social responsibility. You know, when you have a red light, there is no policeman, people try to jump over. Social responsibility is something that, and I can put it a coined term as, I want to be a COVID POTS. COVID POTS mean I want to protect others to save self. I have to protect others. How do I protect others? I always keep a mask and I feel that others should always wear a mask. Free masks, hygiene for hand, and third and very importantly is that reset your button of being a civilized, disciplined Indian. Do not infect others. Like the long queues that you see anywhere. How can you ever get rid of a virus? So the number spike is the responsibility of every individual in the country, not merely of the government.
Absolutely.
And I think this point must be driven home. We have to be disciplined.
Especially because you can't have a sustained lockdown for too long. So we have to find a way to live with the virus, as people are now saying. But I want to talk to Dr. Kaushik Lahiri, who's joining us from Kolkata this evening. And Dr. Lahiri, the numbers in West Bengal of some concern as well, because we are seeing that the highest death rates are actually in Bengal at over 9%, whereas the national average is about 3.4%. How should we look at this data, Dr. Lahiri?
Actually, from our doctors, I represent West Bengal Doctors Forum. Since the early part of this pandemic that hit our country and the whole world, we constantly, as a advocacy forum, we constantly advise the state government to do the tests, more tests, because the purpose of lockdown is failed if we do not test properly. So this is being told again and again and again. So we do not want to go into the details why this is not done. This is, but the fact remains that now we are doing a very good number of testing per day, but this has actually in the middle of April, this was not done. So the more tests are done and we are getting more and more positive cases. But until and unless we do it on the absolutely asymptomatic. We do it on the healthcare service provider. So we will not be able to know where exactly we stand. So that's the problem. Actually, we have not tested enough, and now it has really the figures.
So what you're saying is that the testing has improved, but it needs to improve further.
Yes, miles to go. It has
miles to go. Dr. Kunal Sarkar is also joining us from Kolkata. And Dr. Sarkar, would you agree with that is the key to ramp up testing even further? And again, is there anything that explains the high number of deaths in Bengal at this point?
Nidhi, good evening. I think we've got to put it in perspective, you see, because if you equate Bengal's death with the sort of distributed per population, we really, it's obviously every life is valuable, but the deaths in Bengal as sort of equated population-wise is not really, is not like an outlying statistic. Now, what actually happened in Bengal is, if you consider about 6 weeks of lockdown, we had a bad first half and a better second half. We had a bad first half simply because of the fact that Kaushik has already mentioned a very important factor, that we were testing abysmally low. Abysmally low. We took a long time to come up to 300 tests. And the first half of the lockdown was more about control rather than detection or containment. We had funny ways of keeping statistics in terms of separating, completely shelving out the cases that we labeled as comorbidities, various committees, and so on and so forth. But the good thing is that there has been a significant amount of course correction. Within the last 3 weeks or so, we have reconciled the statistics, and that is why one fine evening you had 72 deaths being added out from Bengal all of a sudden. The second point is what Kaushik has referred to, that we increased our testing from these paltry numbers of 200, 250, but still for a state of nearly 10 crore population, we are struggling to hit 2,500. Having said that, it has to be put into
not enough.
All right. In fact, Derek O'Brien of the Trinamool Congress has sent us a statement saying that experts are advising the West Bengal government that we're still in the middle of the pandemic and it's too early to make conclusive statements about the rates while the outbreak is still unfolding. I just have time for one last question to Dr. Sanjay Nagral. Dr. Nagral, the thing is that you see the maximum cases in Mumbai at the moment. The density of population is very high in the city. That is not going to change. Clearly, infections are going to spike. Do you think that Mumbai is prepared for that spike? Yes or no?
Well, it's a difficult question to answer in yes or no. But, you yourself said it, that we have big slum pockets with high density. So I think we'll have to face a certain amount of volume of patients. I think it's inevitable. I think, as I just said some time back, that a coordination between both the sectors and harness the capacity of the private sector could get us through. But at the same time, you must remember that the social distancing, and a lot of good points made by Dr. Sareen, is a big challenge in the severely high, dense slum pockets of Mumbai, and that's 40% of the population.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much to all of you for joining us tonight to give us some perspective on why these big cities are seeing a spike in cases. I think the important thing is that we, as I think all of you pointed out, it is expected. We are going to see more infections. But if you look at India compared to the rest of the world, our death rates are still very, very low compared to the rest of the world, and may it stay that way. Thank you for joining us. Sanket is up next. Good night.